Here's Gravity Hill. Gravity Hill is a 16 one-hand 5-year-old thoroughbred mare by Sky Misa. She has been here for a week or two now, a little bit, long enough to have put a couple of rides on her and feel like I know her quite well. She had 13 career starts, which is a very low number of starts for a 5-year-old. She made $73,000 and she literally just ran before she came. She last ran on April 17th of this year, so she is very, very fresh off the track. She actually still has all her racing plates on. So, yep, just fresh off the track, and she's just absolutely lovely, and she's come such a long way. And maybe the half a dozen rides I put on her since she's been here, when the first ride I had on her, she was super distracted, which is normal. Lots of horses are distracted on the first ride and just need a really low intensity ride just to let it all sink in. But she was distracted and wiggly, and now I feel like I've really got her trending so positively in the right direction. The biggest thing was really actually just finding the straightness. When they're distracted and they want to look around, it's just so easy. They look one way and then their shoulder falls out, or the haunches come in, or whatever it is. She was just it was hard to send her straight down the long side, is what I'm getting at here. You would kind of come out of the corner here, and without intending to, you'd be doing a shallow serpentine. So I feel like I've really got her coming straight out evenly between my legs now, which is great. I've definitely got the tempo a little bit quick. It's kind of like when you're driving a bumper pull trailer on the highway and you get some sway in it, and you get the sway out by speeding up a little bit. It's kind of like the same theory here with her. I got her to straighten up by actually just increasing the tempo a little bit. So definitely, in the next couple of rides, I will ask her to now dial it back a little bit, take a longer second with each foot on the ground. But it kind of was just like what we had to do to get the straightness. And now that we have the straightness, we can work on dialing the tempo back just a touch. But she is just sort of a lovely, big moving mare, and she has a wonderful engine. She's certainly not hot, but she is very happy to work and do the job. And she's definitely going to be a horse that just sort of gobbles up whatever her next career is. She is actually, interestingly, I found her a bit easier in the straightness and the canter, which is very much not the case. Usually the canter would be the more difficult gait, but she has just such a lovely balanced canter. And I actually really like how she can be so balanced and regular in her canter without actually being so on the bridle, because that means she's really holding her own balance, and she's regulating herself. She's soft in her mouth, but she's not high pressure, high intensity in the bridle. And that's not to say that I'm not asking her to soften up a little more, come over her top line a little more. And she certainly gives me those moments. I think especially here to the right, we worked this lead for a little while, and she gives me some really nice steps. But it's good to feel like they can be off the bridle and holding up their own balance and holding up their own head. Yeah, this is some nice work in the right canter. For whatever reason, there in that corner, she just wants to get sucked into it. It's an odd corner for them to want to get sucked into because there's nothing there and it's not towards the barn. But yeah, she's funny about that. I always have to work a little bit with my outside aids there to get her to come around that corner. It always makes me think like, what would happen if I didn't ask you to come around the corner? Would we just like stop at the fence? But who knows? Horses are hilarious. And so here she's really giving me some nice straightness. She feels nice and soft in her jaw. I love her regularness of her tempo here in the canter. This is all very good. Yeah, and then here she's kind of is thinking about softening up more. Then she thinks maybe, I'm not sure if her rider really knows what she's doing. That was very good. And then for her, and this is very typical, especially of the more athletic ones, the canter just relaxes the trot so much. It just really relaxes her over her top line. So then we get some really nice work in the trot. So with her in the trot work, I'm just doing a bunch of circles, changing of directions. and just maintaining on, straightness, control of those shoulders. There, I lose the left shoulder a little bit coming across the diagonal. And at this point, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for them to engage in this conversation with me, which she's obviously more than happy to do. And this is some really nice work in the trot. And again, I know I've said this a million times, I feel like a broken record, but I would just always rather, if they're going to bobble the canter, that they bobble it above the bit than below the bit. It's so much easier to work with a horse that wants to bring their pole up rather than duck behind the vertical and put their chin to their chest. And this is very good here. Okay, I'm going to butt out of this video. She was awesome. I'm very happy with her.